you take your bonus checks, you get this going. How do you get it all kickstarted? And at what point do you decide that, you know what, this is it, I'm going all in?
When I started, it was
passion.
not smooth at all. Our first round of product that came to my door had no inside tag, no outside tag, no logo. And then I'm in the kitchen with 2 irons and the heat transfer paper trying to iron on each piece. And when you have textured fabric,
It doesn't stick.
It does not stick. That was a nightmare. And then no hang tags. So I had to go get, I was like, what is the thickest paper I can print on?
The cardstock and,
yes.
and do the printer at home and cut.
And cut, yes. Yeah, it was a mess.
Shade isn't a place you hide. It's where you pause, where you think, where real work happens. Quietly, creatively, and authentically. No slides, no filters. Just candid conversation about a story worth telling. It's not about villains. This is where brand builders, creatives, and storytellers come to share the stories they usually don't tell in pitch decks or press releases. It's about the people who work behind the scenes, challenge the obvious, bend the rules, or build unforgettable brands. This is
Shady Characters.
I'm very excited on Shady Characters today to have my longtime friend who is the epitome of the term girl boss, Nicole Bowyer.
Thank you for having me.
The founder of Coco on the Go.
Yes.
I was very, very caught off guard when your husband was on the show and he told me I've been saying your last name wrong pretty much for as long as I've known you. I always said Bowyer.
Oh, yes. No.
And he's like, nope, it's Bowyer. I'll correct you now. But we're excited to have you here. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really excited. He got to go first. I'm like, hey, I've known him longer.
I know, and that's what we talked about. It's like, well, I met you through your wife. Then my wife worked with you guys, which was great.
I love her.
I feel like you and I have been friends mutually through your friend Lita,
Yes.
who introduced us back at
Skull Candy?
Skull Candy, which I left there in 2013. So it's been probably 15 years.
Are they still around?
They are, and they're doing apparently really, really well. Yeah, which is great to see. They've kind of gone back to their original roots when the team that I was there kind of followed, which is getting back into the core sports like skateboarding and snowboarding and music.
Yeah.
And getting out of like the CrossFit type fitness world things where they just didn't fit for them.
Yeah.
But anyways, you today is all about you.
Okay. Good. Not Matt.
And I've been a longtime fan of what you built with Coco on the Go, and we want to really get into your head a little bit and understand how that started, where your passion for athleisure wear came from, how you positioned this brand a little different. I mean, there's Aloe, there's Lululemon, and I feel like you've taken a different approach, which I think is pretty admirable, and you've kind of stayed really true to your brand. And I think that's important for small brands growing up to not try and be someone they're not and stick in the lane of where you want to position yourself.
Yeah. So I will be my 11-year anniversary this summer with Coco. I had the concept of it, I would say 12 years ago, really, on one of my trips to Brazil. I loved how women walked with such confidence, whether they were 80 pounds or 280 pounds. They wore thongs and midriffs and just really embraced and rocked their bodies. And I wanted to take that confidence and bring it back into a brand to give women confidence. And when I first started, truly the only thing that was really popular at the time was Lululemon. And then if you wanted a lower price point, it'd be kind of your go-to was Gap. And so I kind of struggled at the time, do I source from these higher-end manufacturers that make this beautiful fabric that I fell in love with? Or do I go more mass production and source from China and get these kind of basic Lycras and just do a pure athletic brand? But going back to my core of what my vision was and what I was trying to accomplish with empowering women throughout their day and creating transitional pieces, whether either one pieces or just more of a beautiful Lycra that you can wear dressed up or you can wear to your yoga class, Pilates class. That's really kind of where my idea and my core started and what I continued with, even though it wasn't really economically feasible.
And you funded this yourself, right? Like what were you doing? Like how did you even kind of where did you come from and how did you get to where you like to this idea of wanting to start an athleisure brand?
So I went to USC for international relations. I had this idea that I would be traveling the world, working for an embassy. I studied Mandarin in college. I grew up speaking Spanish, so I like, okay, I have 3 languages. This will be my route. But really, my passion growing up is I used to make my own doll clothes with my grandma, sew them. I remember at a high school fair, I looked at FITM to go there instead. And then when I graduated high school was my first time when I traveled, and I fell in love with it. So I thought that traveling for pleasure would be the same as traveling for business. And then when I graduated college, I worked for a pharmaceutical company doing clinical trials. And on one of my first handful of trips, I realized very quickly that traveling for business and pleasure are not the same thing.
As someone that's done both, I can tell you you're
Yes.
very accurate.
Yes.
But I will say
yeah.
one of the cool, not to interrupt, one of the coolest things I always did for myself when I was on a business trip, I always said, whatever the cool like tourist thing to do wherever I was going to go and do that one thing.
That's smart. I
But-
wish I would have done something like that.
But you take like a random gondola up to the top of the mountain in Capri, you do the helicopter tour around the Cristo in Rio, but there's always like one cool thing that you can't miss. So,
That's true. But my locations were like Midwest,
yeah,
middle of
that's not the
nowhere. I was, there was nothing.
You go have a beer with Cletus.
It's truly, you sit at the hotel bar and you're like, okay, what do I do now? But that was kind of my push to get out of what I did. And the silver lining is that I used my first bonus from my pharmaceutical company to launch my first round of samples. And then I also, at the time, I waitress at night and the weekends. And I just used, my income from my 2 jobs to launch something small. At the time, my roommate, her name's Kepley, she was amazing. And she said, let me take you as my project because I'm going to school to get my master's in business. I need a company to work with, so let me help you. And that was the biggest blessing because she really helped launch the more marketing, social media side.
So she built more of a business plan for you.
She did, yes.
Okay.
And then
Is she still involved in your business at all? Or?
No, I wish. Yeah, I got to be her experiment in her grad school. And then when so at the time when I launched, I had my first round of samples. I got into the Irvine company to do a pop-up shop, and I sold out of 90% of my inventory.
Wow.
And the biggest compliment was, God, we love your fabrics. They're so different. They're not just like a Lululemon piece. I want to save your pieces for special occasions. I don't want to just wear them to the gym. So I kind of just let that grow on itself. And the more you get to, especially when you first start, you have this idea of what your demographic's going to be. So I thought, I age myself. I was
16.
16 years old at the time.
So before you get too far, because I've heard you say multiple times that your fabrics are different, and I know what you mean, but explain why are they different?
So if you go to say a manufacturer and you just want a piece of Lycra, like a basic piece of Lycra, there's different weights within it. There's different components of polyester, spandex. Certain manufacturers that I use a higher quality and a different percentage of each of the ratios to make it just a more luxury, softer fabric that holds you in but doesn't compress you to where you feel like you just, after wearing them for a couple hours, you want to rip them off.
I'm trying to help you sell some leggings here.
Thank you. Yes. No, I appreciate it.
What is the magic ratio of Lycra to spandex then?
I wouldn't say there's a magic ratio. I mean, there's a ratio when I say like an 80-20%, but it's really so for example, I do a lot of textures and that's what really sells for me. So
I think that was what I was looking for. That to me is what I've noticed that's different from your stuff versus others is, granted, the ones you have now have no texture, but
it's still my thicker, nicer, breathable Lycra.
Yours have had these very cool, ornate like textures and trim pieces and everything on them. They're really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's how women wear them, and they want to save them for their special occasions or their days of dressing up to throw them with like a sweater or a blazer. Like the jumpsuit I have on, for example, I've seen it on a girl in spin class in front of me, and I'm like, oh, she's spinning it. But then I've seen someone else wear it to Vegas with a leather jacket and a pair of booties, and they're ready for the night. So they really are just transitional pieces, and that's why I really do better in higher end spas and boutiques like the MGM spas, Bellagio, Aria, Cosmopolitan, to Montage, all the Montage locations.
So good high end resorts.
Yes, and then recently I did create a I wouldn't say lower end line, a more athletic line that is the more basic Lycras, because now I'm in Lifetime. So I'm in 134 Lifetime stores, and they want that more fitness look. So I've recently kind of not changed, but just created a whole nother section that's more fitness meets Coco on the go. So it's a little bit of a balance between the two.
I understood from reading up on you that you've been doing some private labeling for other brands. Is that Lifetime
That's
deal
Lifetime.
a private label, or
Yes.
are you able to have Coco on that one?
That's a mix. So some pieces they'll co-brand, and then other pieces they just want.
They just want their Lifetime.
Yeah, they
branding.
just want their
Okay.
Lifetime. Majority,
That's a
they
good
just
partner to
want.
have.
Yes. No, they've been amazing.
Where did the name come from?
So when I was looking for names, I don't know, you just write out a bunch of names and you kind of sketch out different logos you want. And it's kind of I don't know, for me, it was a longer process. There wasn't AI back then. Where
to give me, I don't like those 10. Can I have 10 more?
Yes. And in seconds, you get 10 more. I found a graduation card from my mom's best friend that said, "To my little Coco." And she's like, "You're just a little cocoa bean. You're all over the place." And then my dad used to complain. He's like, "You're just like your mom. You just don't sit still. You're always on the go." I'm like, Coco on the go, for the woman on the go, which perfectly fits my brand because it's for the woman that is on the go, that goes from a meeting, that goes to her workout, that wants to get dressed up in. And they're such great travel staple pieces because you can make so many outfits within your one staple piece.
So when you were younger, did Coco stick as a nickname for
Yes.
you, or okay?
Uh-huh.
So I was going to say, because people now, I mean, probably 50% think your name is Coco.
Yeah, that's true. I know. Yeah, growing up it was, and then I lost it as an adult. And then I would say, as I named my company that, then all of a sudden my stepdaughters, they call me Coco. Now that I'm a grandma, I'll be
I was gonna
Coco.
say, she actually, as of this week, is a grandma.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think Tina's eyes just popped out of her head. She's like, a grandma, really?
Yeah, my husband started really young. He's had his first child at 19, and his daughter, his oldest, just gave birth on Thursday.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not ready for that yet.
No, you have a while.
I think I may never get to see grandkids.
I know. I know. With Kingston, I'm like, gosh, and if we have another, I'm like, Matt probably won't be able to see grandkids with his last child.
Hey, so you take your you take your bonus checks, you get this going. How you have this business plan put together and put in place. You get things going. Do you start just online? Like, how do you get it all kickstarted? And at what point do you decide that, you know what, this is it, I'm going all in, I have the ability to make this my full-time
When I started, it was
passion?
not smooth at all. The first round of samples or first round of product that came to my door had no inside tag, no outside tag, no logo. So I was in the kitchen with my mom. I remember I had to go to FedEx or somewhere to get these heat transferred sheets made. And then I'm in the kitchen with 2 irons and the heat transfer paper trying to iron on each piece. And when you have textured fabric, it doesn't stick. It does not stick, and it won't. When it does, it does not stick smoothly.
Yeah.
That was a nightmare. And then no hang tag, so I had to go get. I was like, what is the thickest paper I can print on?
The cardstock and,
Yes.
and do the printer at home and cut.
And cut, yeah. So it
punch
was
the hole puncher, everything, right?
Yes, the hole puncher, the old school. Yeah, it was a mess. And then, Googling, how do you do this? How do you do that? And then once I got those samples going, I didn't like the fit. So it's okay, how do I make my own pattern? So I found a pattern maker. She made a couple rounds of patterns for me. And then I'm like, okay, I don't want to wait for somebody. I want to learn it myself. So then I took pattern making classes so that I could figure out how to make my own blueprints to the way I want to fit.
Where do you take a pattern making class?
This one was in Costa Mesa.
Okay. So it's close by, not too
it
far.
was not far. And then I took courses with this woman for like 6 months. And then I took sewing classes. I'm like, okay, I want to figure out how I can make my blueprint, sew it, send it to my factory. Because at that point, I got a couple of really great shipments in of the different designs, but then I also got some crap. I mean, it meant for like 11-year-old, 10-year-old who hasn't gone through puberty yet. So I was like, I can't
at this
sell
point, you're making your own samples then, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you control the fit.
Yes.
And that way you can send it out and the pattern's done, and then you can just go to mass production.
And then when you first start, it's really hard because you need to find a manufacturer that wants to take you, because my minimums are small, you know, like I can't reach 5,000 pieces. I need 100 pieces.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do 100 pieces of one design. You need to find, you know, your niche. So it was a lot of, you know, knocking on doors. When I first started, I was trying to find the fabric that I had seen my first time in Brazil. So my mom flew with me round 2 to Brazil, and I went to, I think, like 5 different manufacturers.
You couldn't have picked a worse country to export from, by the way.
I know. I know that now.
It's so expensive. It is like the most
now
expensive.
It's even worse.
Like,
Yes.
expensive place to get, which to your merit, no one else is going to be doing that. So you're going to probably sit in a very unique space, right?
Yes, but which means it's a higher price point
Yep.
because these are harder fabrics. They're more luxury fabrics. They're more niche fabrics. And then that's when I kind of started transitioning myself to a higher price point because I didn't have an option. I was trying so hard to keep it at a, you know, $67, $98 price point, but I'm losing money at that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's a lot of bumps and learning along the way.
What are some of the key lessons that you feel like you learned in that initial launch, like getting things done?
I mean, I wish I knew what I knew today way back then. There's so many, you know, from the fabrication to making sure your pattern is right and really crossing every T and dotting every I before you get something to your door, to the marketing and social media. It's so huge, and you're supposed to tap into it for your business, and that's one of my biggest, I think, Achilles too today. Matt will always get, why don't you do your story? Story? Why do I need a story?
He is, I don't know if he does it himself or if he has someone that helps him, but he has a pretty good
Yes.
Instagram and social media profile going, and his presence. I mean, the storytelling is great.
Yeah, he does good at that.
I think that from that standpoint alone will probably rub off on you a little bit.
Now that he's back, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
you guys, I mean, as a couple, if we can talk quick about that, like, I feel like, and my wife feels the same way. There's like certain people that you meet that have this just natural calmness about them, and it's like a confident calm. And I feel like you and Matt, from what I know, you both kind of have that same personality. We don't have it, and we kind of look at you guys and we wish we did, but it's you guys both have this going for you. And is that real? Like, is that how you guys always are?
we stay pretty calm. Yeah, I would say we aren't manic. We kind of just take a situation and handle it. I would say that. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't. Yeah. Thank you. I've never really thought of myself that way, so I'm having a hard time to respond. But yeah, I guess that is true. We are.
There's a handful of friends that we have that we always like, even when we start to kind of get into, not arguing, but when we get into it a little bit, it's like we'll kind of step back and it's like we'll reference you, we'll reference another friend of ours, Rochelle. But you guys, like, it's like this kind of confidence, which is great, and I think it probably helps you in your business as well. And especially now that you're growing this business and you're dealing with people a lot more, and
a lot more personalities, a lot more.
It helps you move the business in the right direction, and it allows you to generate a better rapport.
Yeah.
Knowing also that you're dealing with all these high-end shops.
Yes. No, it continues to build, because when I first started, I definitely didn't have that confidence. It was kind of, scary, and I don't know. I think I just kind of went with it because I was so passionate about it. And, but it is scary because, I'm using all my money, my first bonus. I'm holding my inventory below my bed in like rollout bins. Then I start taking up my, if you've ever been to Laguna or live in Laguna, your space is very small. Yeah. So I was using every inch of space for my business and every inch of my free time for my business. But that's how much I loved it.
At what point were you able to say you're able to go all in, and then how does that transition to now? Like, how many people do you have working with you?
I would say once you get into the bigger stores, and that's when I'm like, okay, I can go all in now and drop one job at a time. But until you get that momentum, you can't. You work. Even now, I still work when my sun goes down. Like last night, I was filling out things and answering things and emails and making sure shipments were on its way. And when you own a business, you can't ever shut off your mind.
There's no downtime. Yeah.
There's no downtime.
we like to talk a little bit about storytelling, and you mentioned it earlier about putting into like social media. I know you also have a handful of influencers that you work with. You did a collaboration with the girl from the OC Housewives.
Yeah.
How does that stuff perform for you? Like, what types of things are you doing that you see work better than others?
I will say that it doesn't translate to sales. I think it creates brand awareness, but it doesn't. I've had a handful of the Housewives post, and they're amazing and sweethearts, but it doesn't equal like instant clicks.
It's not like they post it and you see an instant uptick.
No.
Okay.
No.
Which always isn't the case, and I think a lot of brands forget that, and we talk about that often here. It's like because of how everything over the past 10 years has been equated to conversions and sales. People have forgot about the art of brand building. And so it's important to align yourself with the right people, drive that brand awareness.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important for longevity. Like otherwise you're just another sale in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Like
I have a good friend. I love her. She owns Beach Bunny Swimwear, and she's been around for over 20 years, maybe 25 years. She's been on the cover of Sports Illustrated. She's had the Kardashians, and she said, you would think that would just blow up sales. It doesn't. I mean, she's had covers and huge influencers, and it doesn't translate to instant, selling out. It's just brand awareness.
do you have anything that you're doing that you think works with both one, driving visibility for your brand, but also getting that conversion and giving you the money to keep going on the next day? I noticed you guys do a lot of, I know you do a lot of email marketing. Does that kind of stuff help for you, or?
Email marketing's huge for me. I would say that is number one with driving online sales. Then the paid, what do you call it?
Like a paid digital, paid social?
Yes, then that would be number two. But email marketing is our biggest.
Okay. Yeah, working with an audience that already is familiar with you.
That already has a following, and it's just creating those catchphrases to get them to click and to purchase. And really, fast fashion is such a big thing now. Everybody wants the newest color, the newest this. So it's recreating emails that are like, okay, restock, this color's in, blue's in. It's just trying to create constant ads through my email marketing to get people to purchase.
Yeah, it's the art of storytelling.
Yes.
You create something that's more than just, hey, this is a new product, buy it.
Yes.
Are you seeing, since you work in a luxury space, is brick and mortar stronger because people can actually feel the fabrics and find the textiles, or is online strong enough, and because you can get the messaging and you can get the premium feel through online just as well as brick and mortar, or does brick and mortar, you know what I'm saying?
No,
Because you can actually touch it.
Yeah. And that's a perfect thing to say is, yes, brick and mortar is much better for my brand. It's the online, unless you're already a follower and a fan of the brand and you know what you're getting, then I constantly get those resales. But the brick and mortar is really where it's at for me.
So someone coming into your ecosystem is going to discover you and fall in love with you through brick and mortar, and then they're going to reorder 5 other colors online because they can find that easier than going back to a store.
That's actually a lot of feedback I get, especially in my spas. They're like, we found you at this spa, at that spa. We love that you use this jacquard. Like you have such beautiful fabric. And then I'm like, okay, thank you.
The ultimate
I'm doing
compliment,
my job.
right?
Yeah.
I would assume that because it is a more premium price point, that finding your customer, your customers finding you in that brick and mortar spa establishment is probably a really good funnel into your ecosystem.
Yeah.
And is there through those brick and mortar establishments, can you get on their email lists and get the emails of people that are shopping and buying your product through that? Or is that not as easy to track?
Not as easy to track.
Yeah.
Or do they allow you to kind of take part in their? I know there's a lot of retailers that they'll allow you to. They'll control the email, but you can help them with assets and.
Yeah. No. I forgot about that avenue.
We should talk, and you should give me their info.
Yes.
Sounds like somebody needs to make a call.
I know. You'll have to That's a good idea, though. I need to approach that.
We used to do it a lot with Best Buy back in
Really?
the old days. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna use that next.
And even like sporting goods stores
Yeah.
on the Oakley side.
Okay. That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
So I also want to talk to you about motherhood.
Oh,
I think
yes.
the one of the reasons I was really excited to talk to you is because we have kids the same age.
Yes.
Evan has 3 daughters. His youngest is the same age as Camila, who's a couple, I think 6 months younger than Kingston. And it's something that I want to understand you from a personal level, like juggling motherhood with owning your own business. And even recently, like you were doing it all by yourself with no support. Like how do you do that? Or do you have any special tips and tricks for how you can pull all this off?
Being so organized and prepared for your days. I guess planning is key for me. If I can the night before know exactly what I need to accomplish the next day and have it written out, and from baseball for my son to practice to this to is everything washed and done? Because if my weeks are not planned, I do not do well. I'm not successful. I'm stressed. I'm overly tired. I feel like I got nothing done. So just being ultimately prepared.
What do you use for planning?
I'm so old school. I love writing everything out because I feel like when I write it out, I see it, I've written it, and it's more ingrained in my head. Whereas if I don't know, when I type it into my phone, I just am not good with the iPhone calendar. I can pop up, I'll see what I have, but like it's just not ingrained for some reason.
You're very analog.
I am. Yeah. Yes. I need to see it. I need to visualize it. And then that way I know what to prepare for. So like Sunday nights when Kingston goes down, I plan out my whole week from, drop off to, again, uniform, washing. It's just, and then when he goes down, like I just have to.
What time do you go to bed? What time do you get up?
I go to bed at 10:30.
Okay. That's not bad.
No, I put him down by 7. And then I'll have those 3.5 hours to myself to just me time to finishing work or cleaning, whatever is needed. And then in the morning, I've been bad lately. He's been waking me up with him, which is like 6:30. Yeah. I mean, we go through streaks of 5 in the morning and then we'll go through streaks at 7. So it averages out to somewhere in between.
This guy, I was over at his house. So he has one of those skylight calendars.
Yes.
And that thing looked awesome, man.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
They have their.
Or is
their
it your
whole
wife that uses it?
She is the one that manages the calendar, but it's
Yeah.
very helpful because each kid has their own, tasks and to-dos and check boxes for their morning routines, and
they go up and they physically check it when it's
Really?
done. Yeah, it was pretty.
So
cool.
you don't
I've never
have to
seen one
do
of
the
those.
yelling at them like, did you brush your teeth? Did you, whatever the thing. It's like, well, they go through and they manage. It kind of helps them maybe manage their own stuff a little bit
They're
better.
independent. That's great.
It's great if they knew how to read, though.
Yeah.
That's true. We're not there yet.
My middle daughter does the same thing where she's like, Dad, is this the teeth brush one? Do I pick that? And so you're like, well, now I'm still managing it for you. But
Yeah.
she's getting there now. But when we first got it, it was still, she would just like pick and choose, like, and guess.
Because how old are your
9, 6, and 3. Yeah.
All girls.
Wow.
All girls.
9, 6, and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt has you beat.
Yeah. He's
4.
He's got 4 girls, right?
Yeah,
4
4
girls and a boy.
Yeah.
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 So how is it like? So you guys are he's coming back home. What is it like getting integrating back into normal life? Do you feel like time has passed? Did it feel like it went fast? Like how does that?
Yeah, I thought about it today when you walked in. I'm like, wow, I can't believe you're here now. It's because it's day 1. We haven't really integrated too much. I do think that there'll be some shifting and things that are going to be hard. For example, because he's been not home and we've had like visitation, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Him trying to step into parent, and I'm not used to that. So I'm like, at first I got mad at him because he disciplined Kingston, like, don't do that. And then I'm like, oh shit, I just scolded my husband for scolding our son. So that is going to be interesting to have help because I've always been independent, but then, when you have a partner, you have a husband, a wife, you have your roles.
You have joint responsibility,
yes.
right?
And then now that I've been solo for 6 months, it is hard because I'm so used to not having that. So it's hard.
And as entrepreneurs, you guys both being able to kind of manage your own business while managing parenthood, I imagine that comes with its own.
And then I think too, like I've had my 3.5 hours at night to myself. Like, and then I'm like, are you going to take that up now? You know, like, those are my time. That's my time.
It sounds like you're going to be staying up till 1.
I know. I'm like, great. No, yeah. So it's going to be a TBD. We'll see. It will mesh back. Everything will be fine. But there'll be moments, you know, where I'm like, oh, you're back, you know.
Yeah.
Can you go back for just a day?
I know you're excited.
I am excited. I'm just kidding.
So
He's going to hear that and be like, really, Nicole?
Yeah. What's next for Coco on the go? Like, what do you have envisioned for where you want to take it?
Envision a brick and mortar. I do. I would love one at Fashion Island or, you know, a high traffic, higher price point area like that. I would love, that is what I envision. So I think like in a year and a half from now, I would love that. And yeah, that is what I see next. On top of growing and building.
How many SKUs in the collection like do you typically run?
SKUs?
Well, just how many styles and colors
so
and
like for spring summer this past, I had 3 jackets, 3 tops, 3 leggings, and 2 skirts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually a typical collection, like right around that.
Yep.
And then I bring back my core pieces, like all my jacquard fabrics or just the ones that I sell out of season after season. Like I have they call it my white Andrea jacket, for example, which sells out all the time in all my spas. They're always on reorder. I'll reintroduce that into the collection. And
so those are your evergreen pieces that are always around.
They're always around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of like a little bit of a fun powder blue texture they call the Aztec.
Mm-hmm.
That is just my go-to sell out over and over. I remember like 5 years ago, I did a health and fit expo. And Billy Blanks, I loved him back in the day. I used to do all the Tybo tapes. He walked by my booth and he just stopped and he's like, that is so cool. He's like, I'll take that for my wife. And I was like, thank you. He's like, I've been in this industry forever. I've never seen anything, you know, so different and so like beautiful at the same time. I'm like, thank you.
Thank you. Can I have your number so
Yeah.
I can
so we
can keep this conversation
Can
going?
I film a testimonial real quick?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I did all your CDs, all your tapes.
Yeah. What are the color trends that you're seeing? Like, I mean, it does each spring. Do you bring back the same color palette each spring, or each spring is like something fresh and new?
Yeah.
And how do you decide that?
I
Do
will
you
say
follow the
yellows.
Pantone of the year?
I do follow that. I feel like you have to. Like right now, for example, I have all my spring summer of 2027 done. And it's lots of blues.
Okay.
All different shades of blues, and then with a little pop of powdered yellow, and then I'm gonna do like a little bit of powdered pink too. But I'll have the full blue spectrum, and then moving into fall winter, I'm already designing and having all my samples in, and that will be a lot more earth tones. So I'm gonna do a little bit more of a darker, you know, navies with greens.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and of course my textures and my fun patterns. So
How much of this collection is still brought in from Brazil? Because I know you do some other stuff from
Yeah.
overseas, right? Is there
Yes.
is there a mix of, or is there a collection that's specifically dedicated to the Brazilian?
yeah, there is a dedication
textiles?
now, just because it's gotten so much more expensive with everything going on between Brazil and the U.S. And then, you know, I don't know if you follow that.
All the tariff
All the-
stuff.
All the tariffs.
The tariffs, but also there's a president that he wanted to. It's like
He wanted to
political-
remove, right?
Yes, he wanted to
Yeah.
remove, and if they did not remove him, then he was going to double or triple everything.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So it's but yeah. So now
It's very
I
tense,
do very
right?
tense.
Yeah.
Yeah, very tense climate.
It
but-
was happening obviously with China too, and I think things kind
Yeah.
of neutralized out
Yeah.
after the skyrocket. I think it finally came down to something more manageable. Thankfully,
Yeah.
it didn't pass
It did.
too far onto consumer
Yeah.
pricing. With everything, got
Yeah.
everything that the price inflated definitely. But
And with China, which is frustrating for my brand, is that Coco is close to Coco Chanel in their mind. So when I've used one manufacturer in particular, I got all my stuff taken from me. All I did was like fanny packs and cute things to do as like giveaways, or for like my bigger accounts, I always like to gift them things.
Yeah.
And my whole import got seized because they said it was too
Oh,
close
it was-
to
it was,
Coco Chanel.
counterfeit,
Yeah, I'm like, my emblem is not the same. My logo does not say.
and it's not Chanel.
It's not Chanel. It's
Yeah.
Coco on the go. Even the Coco doesn't look the same.
I think the only Coco she had is on like perfume, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So and then I had to use a different manufacturer in China, and then they were like, no, they were basically idiots. They did not put it in the system right. It should not have gotten seized. So just fun little mistakes that.
How do you keep yourself abreast of all the tariff stuff though? Because I feel like at least, the last year, it seems like it changes weekly. Like, and so are you like, all right, they've dropped the tariffs over there, like place
Let's
the big order, let's
Yeah.
go. And I mean,
kind of, yeah.
Is that how it has to function?
Yeah, and then also Lita's husband is amazing at that, so I'll pick his brain. I'm like, so what am I looking at this week?
yeah.
He works for Mellon.
Okay.
So he's a controller over there. He's in accounting, right?
CFO.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like
A CFO. Yeah. So he's on the math side.
Yeah.
So yeah, he definitely has to be in
He
tune
has
with.
to. Yeah. He's been so stressed lately with all of that.
I bet.
And I was like, just feed me what I need to know.
Yeah, especially because as a small business, you're now you're kind of at the mercy of big government affecting
You are.
you in a pretty serious way.
Yeah, and I've tried.
That's not what your strong part is like understanding when to buy.
Yeah.
No.
When to
that's
buy
not.
and when not to buy.
No, I'm the design side. So no, that's why I feel like in business, know your strengths and outsource your weaknesses. Because I don't want to waste my time trying to read an article that I probably won't truly understand even if I read it.
Sure.
Sadly.
Yeah, sure.
Because that is my weakness.
Yes, I know you've got a sport line. It sounds like Lifetime is probably going stronger into we want performance wear.
Yeah.
And you've got this collection that is really the transition pieces that allow you to go from I'm taking the yoga class and then I'm going to go to lunch with my girlfriends and has that transition, right? But those kind of sit at opposite ends of the spectrum of athleisure.
Yeah.
How do you decide, I guess, where to weight when you're designing product? Is your natural inclination to design for one or the other, or do you have one that you feel like you do a better job at?
I design for both. I prefer my luxury side of it because I just love the fabrics.
Yep.
Before I got into Lifetime, I started designing more athletic pieces for my stepdaughters because they love more of the aloe, really thin fabrics. They're in their 20s. They don't think about cellulite and things like that. Whereas my demographic that is, 40 plus or even 30s, they want the texture. They don't want to feel like they're exposed in a thin aloe line Lululemon fabric. So really both, but now before it was more luxury and now I feel like I'm pretty 50-50 because when I go into my selling mode or my design mode before I have a meeting with Lifetime, now I know what they want and what they look for. So now I specifically source and look for things for them. So then when I get in front of them, I'm like, hey, you liked my jacket. Mine outperformed actually all of your other brands you picked up. This is something on the similar line that you probably might want to look at. So
and at that point, you have the credibility to.
I do,
for
and
them
that's
to believe and listen to you.
Yeah, and that's the fun part is like you kind of feel like you reach different pinnacles. You're like, oh, I made it, and then you're like, look for the next level. Like, okay, I made it. So when I first got into Lifetime, I was very intimidated because I would say the more corporate you go, the more cold they are, and then you kind of have to prove yourself. So when I finally got in, I was so excited. They placed a huge order, and then they just kind of went cold on me, where I'm like. I felt like the redhead stepchild, like, hello, I'm still here. And you kept trying and pushing. And
you were looking for future orders or just kind of updates on performance?
Both. Okay. I'm just trying to keep.
Yeah, you're anxious. How's it doing? Do they like it?
Do they like it? And then a whole year later, they come back and like, you actually outperformed all of our other all of our other companies. We prefer to just go to you from now on. What are you doing for next season? I'm like, oh, this is like
what is that like? So as someone that built a brand with your name in it for a decade, and then it comes to Lifetime, and you start to discover doing some private label stuff and maybe putting someone else's name on it, and obviously they're coming to you because they recognize the quality and the aesthetic, and they love all that about it, but they might not want it to say Coco on the go.
Yeah.
How do you juggle, going private and letting someone else put their name on your product versus, no, I want to stick to my core and put my own label on it.
Here's my thumbprint that says I designed it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, you have to drop your ego. It's, I was definitely kind of like, that's my brand, but I want my logo on it. And I want not only my logo for, because I've built something, but also because it's brand recognition. When someone buys it, they're like, oh, what is Coco?
Especially
and
aligning
Lifetime?
with Lifetime. Yeah.
Yes. And just dropping the ego and being like, you know what, this is better for Coco as a whole. It's not about me. It's about the brand I'm building, and to have an honor to be thought of as, good enough to be in this position, then let's just keep going with it.
Is there a thought that you would continue that type of like private label to
Yeah,
other
I would.
chains and outlets?
Yeah. Yes, I would.
Anyone in particular on your radar?
I would love an Equinox.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be next.
And do they sell Coco currently at Equinox, or is that something that?
No, I've been trying. It's just constantly knocking on those doors and being annoying.
How do you deal with like, I've done that through side hustle brands where the rejection is crazy. It's 99% of them don't get back to. How do you develop the skin as a designer to be able to take the rejection for sales?
I think that you have to envision either sink or swim. Your brand's either going to fail if you don't keep going, because that's the only way to keep getting your doors open to create the financial flow you need to keep, the samples, the marketing costs, just everything costs money. So I think for me, that is the driving force.
How do you establish an initial relationship with like a Lifetime? I think that was.
I did so many pop-ups. I wanted to cry. So many pop-ups after pop-ups.
Let me come and set up on a Saturday at one of your locations.
Yes.
And okay.
Yeah. And actually what happened is I had a booth at Active Collective, and they gave us this like overflow room. So it was kind of basically like the crappy room. And Charlotte, who she gave me this idea that she did for the Breast Cancer Foundation. She said, create a big spin to win. And then when people come by, and everyone likes free stuff.
Yeah.
So then I did these Coco hair ties in this cute package. So when groups would come by, they would spin. You don't know who is who because everyone turns their tag over. So you're just giving away stuff at that point and hoping something catches. At one point, this group of women came over. The two of the girls came to spin, and there was one you could tell was like, a little bit older, more reserved. You could tell had more of a say within the group. She stood behind, and then I stood next to her, and the girls were spinning. I'm like, oh, so where are you from? And she said, Lifetime. I go, oh, I've done so many pop-ups for Lifetime, and I keep getting promised to get the corporate email, and no one ever responds. No one gives me the email. I sell out of, over 80% of my inventory, and I still get nothing. And she's like, well, I'm her. And then I was like, okay, here we go.
Thank you for not emailing me back.
Yeah. And I was like, well, can I please show you my collection? So she stepped into the booth. I showed the collection, and she just stood back, and she's like, okay, we'll do that jacket, that jacket, that jacket.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just on the spot. That's all it
spot.
takes.
So she's like, we'll be in touch. There's a lot of paperwork you're going to have to fill out, but, we'll get
At the
there.
end of the day, it's going to be worth it because here you are. How many years ago was that?
That was 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, 2.5 years ago, right
It
after.
really is the whole thing that lightning has to strike.
It does. And then right after that, Montage, I'd been emailing them for years. And then my sales rep was emailing for years. And then that next day she came by and she's like, okay. And the woman throws down her purse. And I was like, hi, where are you from? And she's like, I'm Montage. It's like, oh, hi, yes, we've been emailing you. She's like, I know, I've received 1,000 of your emails. Let's see it. It was very like Devil Wears Prada. I don't want to be here, but here I am moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Nicole, here you go again. Let's go. So I showed the line, and she was like, okay, we'll take this, and that. Here's your order number. And then, yeah.
All right. And it was all at that same show.
It was all at the same show.
So that's where you saw like a monumental shift.
Yes, it was huge. That was like a huge shift for me.
Yeah.
And then I remember I looked at my sales rep, I'm like, lightning can't strike twice. And she's like, don't be negative. And then the next day was when Montage came. And then the following season, 6 months later, she came back and she's like, you are doing amazing in our Laguna Beach store. We want to bring you on to the rest of our stores. So let's place an order. I was like, so then it just kept going.
I would imagine that for your clientele, those are both Lifetime and Montage are probably pretty idyllic in,
That's like
in
the
terms
Holy
of
Grail.
like where
Yeah.
you're trying to get to.
Yes.
And there are probably so many tastemaker, brick and mortar retailers that are looking up to those brands to see who they are carrying.
Yeah.
That just having the exposure of being aligned with a Montage and with a Lifetime is probably ultimately going to be really good for you as well, just from an exposure
Yes.
point, right?
It
Because
completely is.
there are other spas that are like, gosh, if we could only be a Montage,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
What do they have in their spa store? Oh my gosh,
Let's
they're carrying
emulate
this
them.
brand. Let's carry that brand too,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, the fact that you were there is pretty incredible.
Thank you. Yeah. Many years of grinding and grinding.
Yeah.
Outside of Equinox, is there anyone else that's like, is there like a holy grail of like, is it Nordstrom, if I get into
Yeah,
Nordstrom
I
or
mean,
Bloomingdale's?
Yes,
or-
Bloomingdale's, Saks, Nordstrom, all of the big box retailers. That is next.
Do
that
you
I'm-
feel like there? So you said when you first started this, it was Lulu and for maybe the higher end
Yes.
stuff, and it was Gap for the more athletic stuff. It's become a bit more flooded, right, or a
Yes.
bit more crowded in that space.
100%.
How do you now differentiate yourself, or do you feel like there's a fatigue in this athleisure space, and all the Fabletics and those guys are just
The
going to go by the
Vuaris,
wayside
the
eventually?
Alos,
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the people with the most money behind them, like the Vuori, the Aloe, the Lululemon, those are staples. And then all the ones that are like the up and coming ones, they have definitely a big hill to climb.
yeah.
And it's going to take a lot of marketing money, being in the industry for a while. Because I've been doing Active Collective for 8 years. I think after year 2, I invested to do it. And the first year I lost money. The second year I broke even. Then the third year I started making money. So it's just to constantly show your face and say, I'm a brand, I'm here to stay. And then that's when people want to invest in you. They don't
we
really
feel that way about a creative agency.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Here we are. We're not going anywhere.
Yes. Yeah. It's just constantly being able to show face that, you do have something good. That is why you're able to keep coming back 6 months after year after year, and just showing that credibility.
It sounds like through your growth and trajectory, you had a real passion and a drive to start this originally, and you've been supported by a few key people that have maybe stuck their necks
Yeah.
out to help you along the way. Do you feel like in general has that kind of been the sentiment? Like, are there a few people that are like, no, she's got a great thing, I'm gonna help her out, or are people trying to, in general, do people try to hold you down and not help you succeed?
I would say in general, no, they definitely help me. Like,
Yeah.
what can we do to help you? I know this person. Let me introduce you to this person.
Yep.
Staying, within my budget too on everything. Like being able to source things that I can economically afford that will still grow Coco and not put me in the hole. No, I've been very, knock on wood, I've been very blessed to be surrounded between my first beginnings with my roommate who helped me.
Yeah.
I remember she got me into Oakley too, and to do my first photo shoot. And just having those resources were amazing.
Yeah. Very cool.
You're building this up. And this is a question that I'm going to steal from Evan because I think it's such a great question. What do you see as your legacy for Coco? Is this something that you envision one of the girls is going to take over for you? Are they going to come work with you? Is it going to be a family?
That's a really good
family
question.
brand?
I mean, right now it is family. My mom is my right-hand woman. She helps me do all of my office.
She manages the Coco Cave.
She does manage the Coco Cave. She is amazing. I always tell them, like, you can't quit yet.
You can't retire.
You can't retire.
Yeah.
I felt so bad. She tripped the other day in the Coco Cave, and she dislocated her pinky.
Oh no.
And she's like, I
man.
think that's a sign, Nicole. I was like, nope, there's no signs. You cannot leave me. But yeah, I mean, a legacy, yes, to pass down to my stepdaughters, or that would be amazing. Yes. But as of right now, that's a great question. I've never really thought about that.
Do any of them have the desire or interest in fashion to want to come work with you on this one?
The oldest does. She works for PJ Salvage right now.
Okay.
And so that's something I would definitely explore when the time is right and she, wanted to.
What a great education you're giving them, though, to have been able to grow up and see you working so hard to see this, not only in education and like how to build and scale a brand, but also just how to juggle motherhood, juggle a marriage and a family, but also have something that is bigger than yourself, right? And
Yeah.
that's a great legacy in its own.
And
Yeah,
have
Like the model, the
and
behavior
calm
that,
confident.
yeah, the
Yeah.
behavior that you have modeled for
Yeah.
them is really cool.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't see that, when you're
No.
deep in it at all.
A lot of people would throw their hands up in frustration.
Do you do too? I mean, don't you want to some days be like, what am I doing?
Yeah, everyone. Usually it's-
Everyone has that moment, So yeah, to be able to get past those moments are key.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I got to say, it's been a pleasure to
Thank
chat
you
with you.
for having me.
You want to let her
I
plug a
wanna-
bunch of stuff?
Yeah, let's have you plug. What's
Okay.
any social media website?
Yes,
Anything else that you want to give some reference?
CocoOnTheGo.com. And then social media is at Coco on the Go. And then I do have a Pinterest that I
Okay.
don't run, so I don't know the handle on that.
Do not follow her Pinterest.
Don't follow Pinterest. There, what is TikTok? Clearly, I'm not social media. So TikTok at Coco on the Go. Did you do at for TikTok?
You're asking the wrong guy. I'm in my 50s. And if people sign up for your email list,
Yes,
you
they get
guys
a percentage
have
off.
you guys have
Uh-huh.
frequent emails that go out
We
with
do.
discounts and
Constantly,
what's
yeah.
hot and new. So definitely go and subscribe
Yes.
at
Yep.
cocoonthego.com.
Yes.
Um,
please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All
Thanks
right.
for
Thank
coming
you,
on.
guys.
Well, like what kind of fun stuff you've been doing since you've been back? It's been. I bet
Gosh.
you've been so excited, right?
Yes, since he's been back.
Yeah.
Well, today's day one.
Oh, that's right. So this
yeah.
is his first day back home.
It's
home.
his first day back home.
awesome.
Yeah, he came in this morning with his little suitcase. I'd packed him, and Kingston went running to him, and I was just like, oh, don't cry. It was really sweet. And the first thing Kingston said when he woke up, he's like, Daddy's coming home. I'm like, yeah. But Kingston's taken his spot in bed, so I don't know how this is going to work out. Yeah. He's like, you need to get him out. I'm like, but now he's going to be mad at you because you're home. And
Wow. Camila sleeps with us. I'm thinking
Kingston will be
insane.
up at 5 if he's in his own bed. If he's not, if he's with us or me, he sleeps until 7.